So, we're going to get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 1 second in, 2 second in. There we are. And I'm looking at the Warner Brothers pictures as that incredible music swells in, which is in the key of F sharp or G. It's in G, this movie. So each movie, the key has gone up a step. Or it's step the first time and a half step the next time. Village Roadshow pictures, bitch. Yeah, so I appreciate having all of you guys as part of our Scum family. So the first note Gaetano left me is, yellow light for the intro was written coded light in the script, which is a reference to it all being part of the plan of the machines. So I didn't know when that was going to kick in, so I just wanted to say that ahead of time. Okay, so we got this yellow light. Perhaps it's that. Yellow kind of represents the architect. You know how his room was very yellow compared to everything else? So let's jump on in. And of course, guys, if for some reason you lose sync or whatever, this will be right here on the time code so you guys can catch up if for some reason something happens. So, no sign of Niobe or Ghost. This is my best attempt to try to lip sync with him. All right. Sorry again, guys, for the tech issues, but, you know, it is what it is. Noticing immediately that the color grading is very blue. Yes, thank you for the sellout, Gaetano. Everybody, please like and subscribe and drop some money. Let me sell out real quick. So if you guys appreciate what we do here, you can always hit that link that should pop up. Also, I don't know why the chat's not fucking working. It's so annoying. But anyways, that's there. Also, so we've got, I'm going to be spoiling everything out the gate, but if you haven't picked up on it yet from the last movie, we're looking at, yo, oh, I miss Gaetano too. Oh, I appreciate you guys. Too funny. So Neo's kind of jacked in right now, even though he's not plugged in. And one of the other things in Gaetano's notes that it says is that we've got Neo and Smith laying back to back, which, by the way, that's Smith in a human body. It's two sides of the same coin. All right. So I really like the intro to this one so far as compared to Reloaded, where, for one thing, we got an immediate plot dump, which is actually the same plot dump as the first one, right? Which is that the machines are coming, right? That's the whole setup for the second movie. We get to the third movie, what do they say? Machines are coming. See how it says Mobile Ave? Mobile is an anagram for limbo. This movie's heavy on the Christian symbolism. So where is he? He's on Limbo Ave, the train station. Yo, Gaetano has big feet. Thank you very much. And he definitely left some big shoes for me to fill because he knocked it out of the park on the last two videos. So it's going to be a lot of fun trying to add as much as I can to this. But everybody knows Gaetano's the shit. So yeah. We've got a new Oracle that's a little bit darker and wearing yin-yang earrings. That would be one of the main criticisms, Brian, of this movie is that the clock isn't showing. That's just my fault. Sorry about that. There we go. 5 minutes and 25 seconds. This movie is not subtle. When you think of how well and cleverly written the first movie is, what is going on here? Just fucking work. But this one's much more not subtle. The Train Man. So the Oracle being a different character does set up at least some amount of possibility of in-universe explanation for why Lawrence Fishburne's not going to return as Morpheus in the new movie. The difference is that, of course, the Oracle is a program and Morpheus is a human. But perhaps in Matrix Resurrections, one theory could be is that Keanu and Trinity and Morpheus, that none of them are human, right? That they're all programs. Because, spoiler alert, Trinity's not going to make it through this movie, so it doesn't really make sense that she'd be back in the Matrix unless it's a program version of her. Which, in a sense, is somewhat possible if you just think about the fact that for them to even be in the Matrix, that's sort of like their consciousness is already digitized, right? So it could be something of like a ghost, to use the lingo, right? A ghost of Neo and Morpheus and yada yada. Interesting. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to try to offer an in-universe explanation, but I think this movie also sort of sets up what I think a lot of people felt, and I'm going to try my best to put into words, which is all of these movies require a certain amount of suspension of disbelief. We're talking about guys and gals in goth boots shooting machine guns that are, it is what it is. But the first movie was just very consistent with the world it's set up and made it feel very, locked in. But I feel like in this one, we're already... Okay, so when you think about, like, they have to be jacked in to be the Matrix, right? Well, now that doesn't really count, right? He's still in even if he's not in the Matrix, he's in an artificial program world and he's not jacked in. He's Wi-Fi'd in, right? And that already just like knocks that suspension of disbelief a little bit off. You know, does that make sense? That to me, we're already, by the end of the movie, these kind of inconsistencies are going to stack up to a point to where it starts to feel like, I don't really feel like this is, you know, it doesn't end up being satisfying, because if it doesn't feel earned when you get to the end, it's like, you know. I do like this scene, though. I love the scenes where where the programs act more human than human, kind of Blade Runner-y themes. In Blade Runner, often the replicants are acting with empathy, right? And then, I love that the train man is very rough looking. Tasty wheat right there, everything your body needs. So that was a little advert for the food that they eat in the desert of the real. Yeah, the new Morpheus is played by Yaha Abdul Mateen II, same dude who starred in the new Candyman that came out this year. Yeah, it's just, it could, it. I'm reserving judgment, but I'm going to be honest that I'm skeptical about the capacity for the movie to offer a good in-universe explanation for what's going on. Oh, love all of the watches. So great. Little detail like that. And Gaetano said in the last Matrix Reloaded that they shot these movies all at the same time, which I appreciate, because it had to be harder to do it that way. But and for the video game, yes, that's correct. So the Enter the Matrix video game, which was very good, I remember as a kid. It might not be as good, if I played it today, but I enjoyed it. Although it had a very obscure hacking element to it, which was like a interesting second layer to the game. I love the audio here, that it's very glitchy. Love those teeth. Those are some Lake Worth Beach teeth. So, again, another kind of inconsistency here. In the train station, the train man is God, right? Let's just go with what they just told us. Effectively, Neo is robbed of his superhuman powers here, which, from a movie plot structure point of view, is good. Reminds me a lot of an Alien Isolation, where they take away your weapons for a bit because you've just become so powerful that to make the game interesting, they got to pull you back in. However, if Neo can continue to be the one in the real world, right, which is actually less plausible than him being the one in another program that's effectively the same thing as the Matrix. Everybody loves that shot where he runs from one side and pops up on the other. Yeah, Very cool. We really get a great goth club with a lot of latex in this movie, which is appreciated. This one's very Fetish Factory, my old employers. So I appreciate that. A little bit of booty action there. That's cool. Oh, he's killed in the game. Yeah, I mean, I think that's almost certainly what they're going to have to do is say that they're not human clones, they're program clones. That would be my guess. Whoa! That was kind of nice to see a little gruesomeness from Morpheus there. But again, if Morpheus was canonically killed in the game, I mean, Trinity's about to get canonically killed in the movie. So it's just, oh yeah, that button right there was hell. It says it's the help thing, but they covered the P with the thumb. So it's HEL. And one of the things is the Merovingian's about to say you fought through hell. The Oracle says Trinity can save Neo if she fights through hell. The name of the club is Hell. It's very obvious. The Merovingian is wearing black and red, is very clearly supposed to be the devil, right? So unlike some of the subtlety of the first movie, and even in Reloaded, this one is going to just be hit you with the symbolism as hard as it can. For better or worse, I mean, it's okay. It's not ruining the movie, but... All right, here we go. Little Juno reactor music. I'll never get tired of these slow-mo gunfight scenes. Also, I have to say, the CGI right there looked rather good. We were very harsh on the CGI of the last movie, but that shot was good. And I appreciate that the majority of the rest of this was all done in camera, which whenever these movies are in camera, the action fights and stuff, they look really good. Yeah. Yeah, the reference hammer is a good way to say it, Pinto, where it's just, extreme over the top. Yeah. The one thing I'll say about this fight is, although it's cool they're walking on the ceiling, it's very similar to the fight in the original movie. So when Trinity does the little flip, even, I had a feeling of like, okay, we have literally seen that exact shot before. I love when she gets the praying mantis action, just because the old school kung fu. I always appreciate that. Here we go. Fuck yeah. Fetish Factory, baby. I miss it sometimes. I'll be honest. But it is what it is. I was on a phone call with some friends about the drama. And, it never ends. Appreciate the liquid sky effect they have going on there. Also, I have a note here from Gaetano. Persephone's boobs. Wow. Look. Wow. That's the note that Gaetano left me about that shot. So, but yes, even like the kind of Irish crosses. Oh my God. It just those he has Pioneer CDX 100s, 1000s. So you fought through hell. I have the captions on, and hell there was spelled with only one L. So suspension of disbelief here. I mean, everybody's so cool in the Matrix, right? You know, Morpheus just like, go ahead and take him out of my hands for me. You know, like there's such composure from all the characters. And that somehow fits into what I'm willing to suspend disbelief over. But some of the where the consistency in the story starts to feel like it falls apart, that's where I get a little frustrated. I'm going to try to not talk over him too much. The Merovingian's always good. Can we just talk about her choice of a neon green bra for a second? I think these movies are best when the Merovingian's on screen because it has that Quentin Tarantino-esque of like super tense conversation. Just dialogue, but it's like, what's going to happen? You having a stroke, Gaetano? Good night, Nikki. I love you. Thank you for the Maku. Really just sells these scenes. Love him. Hard to believe they wouldn't have just started shooting, but love that shot. I really like this movie so far. 23 minutes in, we've got so much more great dialogue. We've got good fight scenes. We get a moment where Trinity's badass, which I appreciate. So, you know, I'm comparing this. We're going to be comparing it to Reloaded the most because they were made at the same time. They're kind of the same movie in a way. They're an extension. So we could see the train man was in there. So what happens? They just get him? Oh, there we go. Better than the last one? We shall see. My recollection is liking Reloaded the most. I was talking to John Starkey, Scum family member today, and he was saying the same thing. But I was surprised watching it with Gaetano how much Reloaded didn't really feel quite as good as I remembered it. First 24 minutes of this movie, I sign off on. I think if the whole thing held up this quality, I'd be good. Love this scene too. Great scene. Love the Oracle scenes. Remember how long it took to get to the Oracle in the last movie? Very upset the chat isn't working. It's just like, I don't know. I think it just means I need to re-log in to Stream Elements. Gaetan notes. Oh my god. Nicely done. I love the puns. Well, here we get maybe a good... Let's get some good in-universe explanation. We shall see. Love the music here. I'm not talking here because I want to make sure that I listen and not miss anything. Because I do feel like, in a way, it hangs on this scene. Appreciate the music swell there. Love a good darkness spread. He's the negative one. $30, still feeling like we're moving forward very well. But okay, so all we really got is the power of the one extends beyond the Matrix. That's the whole fucking explanation we get. And now everything else that we see, every other time they deus ex machina the situation, which where they just throw in, it's like, what? Why did this happen? Well, because Neo is the fucking one. That's the only explanation we get. When you consider how that contradicts with what the one is in the first movie, right? It's very clear that the one in the first movie is the one only because he can like see the whole fucking matrix all at once and isn't chained into the programming. But they even say he's still confined by certain elements of the programming, right? Like when he's flying, he doesn't fly at light speed. He flies at like 500 miles an hour. Like he's still confined in some ways. He can't just, do anything, but he can do most things. But yes, I love these scenes where the programs are more human than the humans are acting, right? When you think of Cypher in the first movie being narcissistic and out for himself, and in this movie, all the programs are like little sweethearts. They're the most interesting characters of the Merovingian and the Oracle. Seraph, I like Seraph because he's a good actor, but I wish they had given him some sort of dimension to his character beyond just obedient dog. That's what he is. He just follows orders and like is good at martial arts, and that's okay, but it's a flat character. Also, here's something. When I was doing some research on this movie, because I didn't have my security Gaetano with me, something that was interesting is, I guess at this point of the movie, we're supposed to infer that almost everybody in the Matrix is Smith. Like, that the whole world of the Matrix, everybody's been taken over by Smith. The way he was spreading in the last movie, well, by this movie, he's like completely spread to everyone and everything. But we don't really see that. And I don't know if that's 100% accurate, so we'll see how the movie goes, if that's like what we're supposed to get. Obviously, there's a lot of Smiths. What a great delivery on that line. I think the problem with Smith in this movie is that he becomes kind of like an evil genius. Like he's just no longer relatable, where he's like under the thumb of the man of the Matrix, and he's sort of like the one. In this one, he becomes like a mad scientist, like mustache twirling, just he's sort of become a flat character, which is a shame. Hugo Weaving still kills it. Ah, that's actually a very good theory. So we have a little Inception thing going on, right? Like that the real world is just part of the Matrix, a different layer of the Matrix. That would be a very satisfying answer. I would be happy. I do love this little bit of dialogue. She deliberately left the cookies there, but spent all that time baking them with sati. But yeah, I love that theory. Unfortunately, I don't think it's the theory the creators of this movie had, at least when they made it, but that would be, if they go with that for Matrix 4, I'll be okay. I like the little bit of fear there. The captions just said cackles malevolently. Yeah. Skipping over the mom line. Well, I do appreciate they kind of make the Oracle the mom. But you'll recall in the last movie, the architect's sort of the dad. Kind of already brought that up. But I do like it. And this actor does a great job channeling Hugo Weaving. Hugo. God, I can't talk. He's like pretending to be Hugo Weaving, pretending to be him. Awesome. VDTs. I wonder if what that is. Huevo weaving. Love me some huevos rancheros in the morning, baby. But yeah, I do think that, I don't know. If this is a layer of the Matrix too, then it needs no further explanation. Let's go with it not, though, for the sake of argument. Then there's no explanation as to how Neo has magic powers in the real world. That's what we're talking about, right? Is magic power. In a computer program, you can see how if you alter the program in some way, it's like a cheat code, right? You can have infinite health or whatever, because it's a simulation. It makes perfect sense. But in the real world, the fact that Neo has magic fucking powers, and the only explanation we get is the one's powers extend beyond this world. So, we'll see how they go with it in 4. December 28th, baby. I'll see all y'all there if you can make it out. Looking forward to it. Almost 40 minutes in, we've got some sort of, kind of reminds me of Alien a bit here, or Aliens is what I mean to say. Set design, very blue. Love the knitted tank. I was thinking that too, Annie. I should have said something. It was a very good knitted tank. You guys can barely see, but over here I've got my little Alien set up on the JX3P. Love the, sort of like dead beetle aesthetic to the robots here. Love the Niobe Morpheus romance going on. Sort of implying that, like, the sort of thing that she said to Trinity, right? Gaetano, can you answer Annie's question? Because you were talking about that. If Gaetano can't, I will say what I think he said to me. I'm D. I'm drunk. Here's what I think Gaetano told me, is there's a contrast between the ultra chic clothing of the Matrix where everything's perfect, the world of the Desert of the Real, all the clothes are like handmade, right? Like someone knitted that together. It's very kind of reminds me of Bollywood. Missing the question. The question is, I think you talked about it last time, but are the clothes referencing a lack of textiles? Is what Annie's question is. Hey, cheers to Gaetano being drunk. That's my favorite Gaetano. But yeah, it's like a sort of Bollywood-y type thing. So this part of the movie is starting to kind of slow back down into Reloaded territory. And yeah, they have to make everything underground. I think a lot of the problem with these two movies are these scenes in the real world. There's just something like drippy about them. They just okay. I think it might have something to do with there's too many auxiliary characters. Like compare when you're in the Matrix and it's like you've got the Oracle, the fucking Merovingian, Smith. We got the Train Man, but even he's like interesting. We've got a lot of NPCs in the real world. They're like, what's the video game I'm thinking of? Morrowinds. What's it called? The big video game. They're just fucked up. Yeah, there's definitely comparisons to this in like the Star Wars prequels, right? Where it just drops into politics. I do appreciate that they pumped the blue up in this scene. Niobe is a very strong character, and I appreciate that. Yo, Brady, thank you for subscribing to the channel. I like this scene. It's a good scene. Some good character interaction. But why does Neo know he has to go? So he has to go to the source. So it is actually kind of what the Oracle told him. Thank you. I did not like the line, there's no easy way to say this, so I'll just say this. It was very easy to say. Again, this guy's just killing it being Hugo Weaving trapped inside another man's body. Those men. Okay, so on the flip side, I've been criticizing the lack of believability and everything that's going on with Neo, but I love the idea that Smith is able to exit the Matrix by using the two-way street of jacking in. He was able to jack into a human. That's a great idea. Like, I mean, I don't know why I find that much more plausible, but I feel like it's like they built a good bridge, a good foundation of logic that gets you there. Here's another thing. Gaetano and I were talking about one of the things that wasn't so big of a problem in movie one, but I think is a major problem in this movie by the time we get here, is the lack of chemistry between Trinity and Neo. They just don't. This scene. It's just not a well put together scene. The writing's not good, and they're doing their best as actors, but it's just not clicking, right? I don't know. You guys tell me if you think I'm way off the mark there, but I never fucking like just even compare Morpheus and Niobe and how much tension you feel, how much it's like, oh fuck, they trying to fuck, right? And oh, this motherfucker, love him. It's Link, right? That's his name. Just like my favorite character is Link. Morpheus is in love with Neo more than Trinity is. I feel more right now. One thing I love about Fishburne's performance as Morpheus is that his attitude changes whether he's in the Matrix or not. In the Matrix, he's like stone cold killer. He's got a warmth to him when he's in the real world, and it feels good, you know. But I've never bought the whole Trinity Neo thing, and I'm sorry if I just keep harping on about it, but I think it does affect the ending, right? Because this is supposed to be a tragic love story. And if you don't feel the love, how are you going to feel the love story? I really hope they go with Michael's version of this. I hope they go with the theory that the real world's just another layer of the Matrix, because then it could explain how Trinity could still exist in a rebooted Matrix, right? As an older Trin. She really should be yelling right now. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it. The rebooting is not what I'm concerned about. Foursome. Couldn't they just radio though and be like, "Hey, you might want to watch out for Bane"? At least as I understand, at least as they set it up in these two movies, I do not think that is the case, Eric. I'm not saying you're wrong. I think you're probably right that that's what they're going to retcon into the Matrix 4. But the way they describe it in Reloaded, it's very clear that they start 7, I think it was, biological humans, 9, like a certain number of guys and gals. It's not a reboot, right? It's like a rebreed. You know, it's like if you start with 6 chickens, you end up with a whole fucking family. It's kind of like that. That's the clear thing that they say. They could be lying. There could be a million ways that they could. Oh, you're throwing darts. Okay, cool. I hear you then. That you're just sort of like, you know. And yes, I think they are going to have to throw darts to make any of this 4th movie make sense. This guy's killing it right now. I don't know what his name is. Amazing Hugo Weaving. Who's Mercutio? That's awesome. By the way, Tom Spooner, welcome to the stream. I love Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet. Yeah. Love the alien aesthetic here. Little H.R. Giger action. It's very sad for me. I recently took down the Giger painting I had off the wall because no one could see it anymore. I guess I could put it over there. Put it on the far wall. Yeah, give him the choke. Whoa! Right, that blinded him, right? Gross. Truly demonic shot, which I appreciate. So we've got this yellow light here. So going with Michael's theory that we're just in another layer of the Matrix, then, which would, by the way, sort of cover Eric's version of it too. Just more layers of the Matrix. It would put a sort of a darker spin on the overall message of the one, though, right? So he's the 7th, the one, right? I might be off on the number there, but there were 6 ones that came before him, 7 ones that came before him, something like that. And it always just restarted the cycle. Well, if this is a layer of the Matrix, then there's nothing particularly special about Neo, right? Because he's just the 7th, and the Matrix did exactly what it always did the 6 times before. Also, halfway through the movie-ish, checking in, I have to say, the first half of this movie's been great. I'm in. There has not really been any scene that's made me feel like, fuck you. My fuck you feelings are because I know where it's going. But like up to this point, first 58 minutes and 30 seconds, honestly, I think so much stronger than Reloaded so far. More has happened in this 58 minutes than in all 2 hours and whatever of the last one, I think. We were deep into Reloaded, and Gaetano and I were still looking at each other like, okay, so you sum up the plots. Machines are coming. Oracle said some shit. It was kind of a stretch. We're starting to get a little CGI-y, but the fact that it's, machines helps too. It's not the CGI humans. We're going to get plenty of that later, and that's going to look like shit. But, if you have to CGI something, this shot looks fine. I'm not hating it. Is it as good as modern CGI? No. Is it as good as Jurassic Park CGI? Also no. Is it good enough? Does it break immersion? I don't think so. I think it's good. One issue, though, is this guy. Who the fuck is this guy? Like, he's barely been in the movie so far, but we're supposed to sort of be emotionally connected to him now. We've had 2 movies. We've had 3 hours to establish the characters that are going to be in this final act. And they've just shoehorned a new guy in here. Annie, I love that response. I mean, this ain't great. Also, we are leaning pretty heavily into Alien here with the short. I think her name is Vasquez from Aliens. Short-haired, tough chick. We've got a new captain. This guy, he's killing it to the left of Morpheus. I love this guy. But why wasn't he in Reloaded? Why isn't he established? I mean, he might have been in like one shot or something, but he was not a main character. For the amount of... Let's think about the scene where it's the old man and Neo talking about how we rely on machines, but machines want to kill us. Not particularly deep point. It's like a 10-minute scene. Where's that fucking guy? Where's he in this movie? Why did we watch that? Okay, I'll shut up. You guys are probably tired of me fucking bitching. All right. Interesting that these machines can hear better than they can see, like with radar and electric and shit. I don't know. Again, I just don't feel like it's... Like, if you think about it at all, that doesn't make any fucking sense. And movies don't have to make sense all the way down. If you analyze anything too much, it's going to kind of break apart. But at least, See, Link with the necklace, right? Great. We had that scene in... Yes, take it off, babe. We had that scene in Reloaded that sets this up in Revolutions. That's how this should all work, is, setups and then payoffs. Not everything has to be that way, but most things should work that way, I think. I mean, if you're gonna force us to sit through 5 hours of movies, more or less, I don't know. I said I was going to stop bitching and then immediately started bitching again. Just good shot. These things are straight out aliens, but it's fine. If you have to rip something off and it's got H.R. Giger's name on it, I'm happy. But it does get a little Star Wars-y. Okay, as long as the ranting is not just, I don't know, I don't want to be torturing you guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and watching the movie with me. So, just feel free to hit that mute button if you're just like, God, Alex, just shut the fuck up. Okay, we got a drill. That's a lot of bullets, but it doesn't look like it would take very long to run out of all of those. It looks like there's more hidden on their flanks. Probably a little overkill. Probably let a couple of them through so you don't run out of ammo. There we go. That's awesome. Love that your new dog is muscular. Love some good muscles. Characters dying that we don't care about because they have no fucking establishment in the story. All right, here we go. Hey, look. More characters that could have been established earlier. For the amount of like characters that were added in Reloaded, why didn't we get a backstory on this guy? Because he's actually going to be consequent, right? Neo represents the unbalancing chaos choice on the overall matrix made by the architect and the oracle. The architect notes perfect world programs all failed as everyone rejects it. The desert of the real is a buffer where the resulting chaos slowly builds and the anomaly builds until the program is reset. The oracle choice is the aim to the architect. Note her earrings. Yeah. No, that sounds accurate. I mean, that's more or less like the established, you know, what they're going for here. I like that little tap. There we go. Well, I guess I'll take back what I said because we should have gotten a backstory on Eyebrow Chick, but at least we have a backstory on her, right? We got the feeling that we got some sort of story about the woman who contributed, Link's girlfriend. I forgot her name, unfortunately. I think what I like about the original Matrix is you didn't have to embrace any sort of metaphysics or anything supernatural to appreciate it, right? It works in a perfectly deterministic clockwork universe, and all of the spooky magical things like flying and stopping bullets and shit that happen in the Matrix can be explained because it's a simulation. I think this does look good, right? The CGI in this type of thing is so much better. It's later on when we get the CGI humans that really falls flat. But this is all, you know, I'm feeling it. But the thing about the the problem I have with this movie and even the end of Reloaded's explanation that Neo becomes magical and that the prophecy that Tom Spooner is talking about is now like, why is it that there has to be a one that gets born every once in a while, right? Well, the answer is prophecy. Like, it just to me doesn't. Prophecy takes on a different meaning inside of a machine simulation, right? I love this shot though. Like these shots of like the squids swimming in packs. Very good. I don't mean to not be commenting on what's happening, but again, I'm just trying to make a really strong case for why this movie let down the series fans. In my stupid fucking humble opinion. I really like Michael's theory though, because it makes sense with like the yellow. It's not code though, right? But maybe it is code. Maybe it is code. And when we're seeing the green sushi recipe code, that's like almost like if you were to run an emulation of a Game Boy program inside of a simulation, right? Like the Matrix is a less complex simulation in a simulation. Food for thought. Yeah. Woo. Rip. Oh, they're able to get moving. Okay, I was just going to say, although that scene was good action, better than most of what we saw, we're starting to get kind of lost in just action without character progression. That's the big thing. The criticism you hear about action sequences that don't progress the story at all, right? I love the captain. I don't even know what his fucking name is because they didn't establish him at all. But I think he's a great actor and he's selling the shit out of that character. The squid swarms just always feel very intimidating and scary. Hey, how's it going, LF0? How are you doing, my friend? Been a while. Captain Mifun, is that his name? Mifun? Mifun? Not Niobe, the other captain. These scenes with the shell launching are just not scratching the itch. I just wish we had backstory on this character or reason to care about her. Because she is a badass. Again, is the CGI the best? No. Is it ruining it? There was a lot of rough CGI in Reloaded. Ooh, actually hurt. Ooh. Appreciate the times they kick up the gore. Fune, the ground forces captain. No, I'm talking about the captain in the ship. Yeah, I loved Enter the Matrix. Not Niobe. I'll point him out when he's on screen. Love that Niobe is just a pure badass. What's the name of the other character from Enter the Matrix? Unfortunately, I can't remember his name. But even though he's in this movie, again, they just don't fucking establish the characters. They don't give you a reason to care about them. I think that's one of the main failings I'm picking up on this movie is by the time a character's dying, they've gotten... Is that Mifune? Who I think is great too, but they should have established. Ghost! That's his name. Ghost, yeah. Yeah, Ghost was really cool. But you don't get any Ghost in this movie, in the movies at all. Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's true. Spark? Yeah, I agree. I like that like seemed difficult for him. So what's going on with the squids? They just stop? Are they still going after him? Can't really see. That's the guy I was talking about, Aleph. Really is intimidating, these shots. Whoa, bitch! That was awesome. Occasionally the movie outdoes itself. I know, you forgot too. It's because they don't even... He's a great character and they don't even give you a fucking name, really. I mean, I'm sure they said it at some point, but it's like... They've had fucking 3.5 hours to give us the info on these characters that we're caring about now. It'd be one thing if they shot these movies separately or it was like a new director had to take over, a la Star Wars sequels where J.J. Abrams had to pick up where Rian Johnson left off and like sort of kludge it into place. But they knew what they were doing. Like it was all one long script, basically. This is a little unbelievable, but I'll go with it. I appreciate what they're doing here. I wish they had saved the shot where they ripped the guy up for that moment, because it would have upped the ante really hard here. Instead, we've already seen something like that, and we saw a more extreme version. It's big game over vibes there. I like that shot where you could see them coming. I care about this character. Because, you know why? Because they established him in the fucking first movie. It's what they did right. Oof. Kind of seems like he should have gotten squished there. Knuckle up, baby. Yeah, yeah. Oof. That is some fucking shit. Rip end button. I just wish we had more than one fucking scene of interaction that was only like 20 minutes ago to establish their character interaction. Would not have been hard. Would not have been hard at all. Yeah. And it was worth it. I appreciate every time these movies put a little bit of gore in, I actually feel like they do it very tastefully, but it gives it a little, gives it a little something. Because otherwise these movies feel a little sanitized. Like for our movies, like in the last movie where there was almost no blood. And even the shot with Mifune, the gore was a little, I don't know, gore effects was a little gore effectsy. Does that make any sense? It was a weird shot because they cut before you saw him finishing off the squids. I don't know. Love that you see the necklace there for a split second. Still got it in his hand. They do a good job of those characters feeling like, man, they are on the fucking edge. That's another one of the problems. Neo's just gone from the fucking movie. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. Like, we're just done. Neo's gone till the end. We're just going to cut away from the most. And actually, the real problem is this shit's more interesting than what we're about to get with Neo. That line is terrible. But what's happening to Morpheus, Niobe, Link, and the unnamed captain that we all love? This is the best part of the movie. And the special effects floating around with the squids attacking the town, Zion, the dock. It's good. But this is where the real movie's happening. It's a shame that this isn't directly tied to the climax. Like, it's actually sort of secondary. In some sense, none of this matters except for whatever happens with Neo anyways, right? It's interesting. His name's Roland. Okay, cool. So far, hour 21 minutes in, this has been a decent standalone movie in the Matrix series. I will give it that. And considering how much of Reloaded was kind of empty, I would say that this one so far has felt like the superior movie, which is the opposite of how I remembered it. Love that they brought back that line. Again, it's not that hard. So I'm a little stupid. Maybe someone can explain this to me. But it seemed like they had to go a very long way to get to the right point to fire that EMP. But then all of the people are right there. Like, why did it take that long? I know there was that scene where they were where Roland was explaining why they had to do that thing. But it literally feels the way this is edited together. I don't know if there was something that got cut. Their chemistry is so good. I love it. I love it so much. But I mean, it literally felt like it was on the other side of the wall of the dock. I appreciate that he's a dick. They kept him consistent. But one of the issues with this movie is the artifice of the machines coming. Let me say it this way. Remember how they told at the very beginning of Reloaded, which is something like 3 hours and 45 minutes ago, and a lot more in-universe time, the machines are coming. They're almost here. Took a while for them to get there. They just got here. like if the machines had to oh shit, we just lost all of our squids, we got to send more. Shouldn't it have taken as long as it did from Reloaded? I might be nitpicking, but again, like, why did the EMP have to be fired there, but it took that long for them to get there? And then, I don't know. Fuck. Name an actress Reeves pairing that felt real. Fair point, Annie. Hey. I said fair point, Annie. I was going to say, the Morpheus Neo love feels real. It feels platonic, but it feels real. Okay, so it's been 30 minutes-ish since we've seen these characters. About 30 minutes. That's a long time to go without the main characters of the story. And what sucks is from here to the end, where you're going to have some real letdowns, I think. Or that's how I remember it. I'm happy to change my mind. I've changed my mind about the first hour and 26 minutes of this movie. If the whole series was as good, and by series I mean Reloaded Revolutions, as the past hour 26, I'd be good. I'm good with it. You know? And Reloaded had some good stuff. I like the architect scene. I like the Oracle scene. I like the fight between Neo and Smith, even though the CGI is not great. Okay, I'll shut up. This is important to the plot. Okay, we're getting some code-like imagery. So, I guess the in-universe explanation here is that the machines are just letting him walk in, right? Is that... Am I missing anything there? They're giving the drill a charge. They're jumping it. Committing suicide. Very bee-like. Actually wish we had gotten Morpheus saying something. It would have been good to sort of cap off Morpheus's story right there. Give him a last chance to get a little snippy remark or an inspiring remark in. But yeah, it's weird when you think of how severe the machines have been that they're just letting him walk in to where he can do the most damage. CGI is a little rougher here with the alien landscape, but again, totally serviceable. I'm not bitching. I'm good. I'm good with it. This is cool. I like this shot. It's like what are we even looking at? It's like a gun full of people. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Didn't know that, Tom. Appreciate you with the knowledge. Okay, there we go. Those are the defenses. It does seem a little odd that they only now noticed them, but I'll go with it just for dramatic tension. But yeah, Neo's, I mean, arguably more powerful. It feels in the real world than he is even in the Matrix. The Soylent cannon. That's what I was thinking. It looked like it was full of the human pods. Like this, I'm just. The chemistry between them just not working. The whole plot here, which is he can destroy like 1,000,000 sentinels a second, but not the 3 on the ship. It just feels like the writers had no clue what to do, and it just went to like, how do we end this? Neo can fucking kill everything. This is a very weird shot. I remember liking that when I was younger, but now like the weird fake CGI, purple and blue sky, and it's like, what is going on? What has happened to this movie in the last 5 minutes? I do like these shots. Soylent Green is set in 2022. We got a lot to look forward to then. I always love that Blade Runner's from 2019. Okay. So I want to like this scene. We'll see what happens. He should already know with his fucking cool ass vision. He can see forever, but he can't see. I think she's doing a great job with the acting here. Music is perfect. Indigo Gaming, Aleph. Okay. First thing, Aleph, that song, Cyberpunk's my song. I never released it on any of my records. It ended up getting turned into the song Electrolust off my second record, Dominion Screams, which is a very cyberpunk record. It's up on Spotify if you ever want to listen to it. If you message me on Facebook, I'll send you the song. So there's a saying in filmmaking that if a scene doesn't work, it's usually not the scene, it's the setup to the scene, right? That over the movie leading up to that, that's like, if it doesn't pay off right, it's because you didn't set it up right. It's not, they were doing good acting wise. I mean, Keanu's always kind of Keanu. Maybe he wasn't completely up to the task. But Carrie-Anne was fucking slaying that scene. Amazing. And it's not a bad thing. Hey, how's it going, Hussy? I would love to do a vinyl pressing. My friend Miss FD and I have talked about vinyl quite a bit and why it is difficult for musicians. I'm not on her level, but even musicians on her level to make that a reality. But my problem is we really just don't have a setup for the Trin Neo love. And I was thinking, where are the scenes that set up that Trinity and Neo are in love? Both of the scenes are Merovingian scenes. One's where she's like jelly over how do you say her name? Persephone, kissing Neo. She's like a jelly little bitch. And then in this movie, we get the scene earlier on with the Merovingian where she's willing to die for Neo. But they're all willing to die because they're cool badasses, right? Like, that's just part of being in the Matrix, is like not giving a fuck, not flinching, having like 100% calm all the time, even when fucking bullets are ricocheting, destroying the columns everywhere. That's just the aesthetic. And I think that's why that scene fails, and why, the whole movie sort of hangs on that scene paying off. It pays off kind of okay. This scene's probably not going to pay off great. I realize Keanu has done 3T. What does that mean, Chuck? Also, by the way, hello. Here we go. We got some little light. Also, if they are in the Matrix, then why can't he resurrect her like he did in the Matrix, right? Like, if they're just in a higher level, he should be able to do the same shit. Even if not, he should still be able to, because if he can destroy all those Sentinels, like, what's the difference in his power? I don't know. Yeah, exactly, Hussy. Something about this just never worked for me either. Like, okay, so we had to say 2 scenes that didn't work. Trinity Neo, actually, as I contemplate it, it occurs to me that even if that scene didn't completely pay off, Carrie-Anne did a good enough job, and it's not necessarily the type of movie you have to cry in. So, okay, we can get past that. I really think it's this scene with the robot face where we just start to really fucking hit a wall of just bullshit. Like, what are we really looking at here? This is very silly. Look at the snakes. And the fact that they need Neo to fix Smith. Because like I said, apparently, we don't really get this, but like between deleted scenes and stuff, that what's actually happening is Smith is completely taken over the Matrix. I do like that the penis snakes, are penis snakes. I love a good penis snake. But otherwise, the whole just concept. Also, why does he even have to go to the source? Like, to that part with the robots. If he's just going to jack into the fucking Matrix, he might as well just jack into the fucking Matrix, right? Am I missing something here? Does any of this make any fucking sense? You think that was the utter jump the shark moment and not most of all of Matrix Reloaded? I do, because here's my thing about Reloaded. Watching it again, I was a little upset. Okay, by the way, the Juno Reactor song here, Navras, is fucking amazing. But I also appreciate that the Smiths all have a little bit of personality deviation. Hussy, I don't know if you were here to catch Reloaded with us, but most of that movie is set up for this movie. So in a way of looking at it, there's some shit that was wrong with it. The ghost vampires were kind of terrible. But the problem with that movie is that it doesn't pay off in this one. Said another way, well, I want to let this guy get this thing. Because see, this scene is good-ish right here. Love the architect scene. That was very good. Yeah. Right. And I like that, Hussey, for sure. So from a minute 26 to now, we've had about 20 minutes of just utter bullshit. But at least now we feel like we're back in the Matrix, and then something horrible is about to happen. Once we get through this really nice fight scene here. There we go. I love the wire foo shots where Keanu just sort of inverts one way or the other. But oh, here it is. Here's the fucking CGI bullshit where it's just going to all really fall apart. Yikes. Woof. Ugh. To me, this is just not epic. This is just silly. I mean, that CGI looked terrible. Okay, now we're set up for a little one-on-one action again. I've never seen Speed Racer, Chuck, but I've heard it's good, so I'll have to check it out. I really like the original Matrix, though, Chuck. Being any person other than someone who is aware enough to bend the rules. Yes, I agree with you, Hussey. In a sense, that does jump the shark a bit, as you said. But I would say that had they paid it off well, I can roll with that. I can roll with a little gentle retcon. Really wish they had written something a little bit more interesting for him to say there. You know? Like, purpose of all life is to end. What does that even fucking mean? I appreciate they let him do a little kung fu action there. I don't know about you guys. I'm actually a little underwhelmed by this fight, even with the like of these really like the slow motion shots. I'm like kind of killing the pacing for me. There's been a lot of them. I guess when they cut to slow motion seems a little random, you know? That's rough. It's just once we start getting into like a superhero-y thing, that's when like they're just floating in space. I don't know. This just hurts. It's also stupid that all the Smiths aren't killing him. But this is just rough. Ugh. First hour and 26 minutes. Did the lightning fucking break them apart? Oh my god. This is so cheesy. I didn't remember that. Oh fuck. I hope I just missaw that and that wasn't what literally happened. Heard, Hussey, for sure. Yeah, get him in the jaw. Oh, that's interesting, Olive. So, I was just thinking about this. So, it's not in Reloaded when Neo flies off. That doesn't bother me because in The Matrix, at the very end, he flies off, right? Because he's Neo. In the end of The Matrix, it was such a great moment when it's like, oh my God, this bitch can fly, but it's the last shot of the scene. They only show you for a split second. That was cool. But then you have to deal with that in Reloaded. And so yeah, they put him in a situation where he has to fly at like 500 miles an hour. And okay, we go for it. It's this shit that's just the green screen on Keanu didn't even look good there. What are we fucking doing? What has this become? Why did anybody sign off on this? Why is the water rippling like such a over-the-top effect? I like that lineup. I'll have to watch the ones ahead of Matrix. What did you think of Sense8, Chuck? I haven't seen Sense8 either. Yeah, okay, yeah, he's breaking the speed of fucking sound. Anyways. Even the fact that, like, okay, I would have appreciated if the Smith that hit the ground with him died as well, right? Like, just committed suicide, kamikaze style, right? Yeah, it is boring. Or Sense8 is boring. I've never seen it. I tried watching, I didn't get into it. I wish this dialogue was better. Remember the virus scene from the first Matrix? How fucking great that scene is? This is like the exact same scene, except without any of the punch. It's not Hugo's fault. Hugo's fucking perfect. He's just fucking cashing them checks. Because I choose to. It's like, I don't know. It's just so fucking tacky. Interesting prediction, Chuck. This shot looks terrible. Why? Why did we have to have like a gunshot sound effect? This is so bad. We had to get 3 of them? Oh. Yeah, he is the GOAT. There were a lot of GOATs. Fishburne was the GOAT. Hugo is the GOAT. Link is the GOAT. I mean, what are we even doing here? How has this become? It really does feel like the script was like they wrote the script and they're like, epic fight happens. And that's it for this part, right? There's no real like, oh, I was saying that earlier. I don't know if you were here. Every scene he was in just killed it. In fact, Reloaded didn't have that many good scenes. I remember liking Reloaded better when I was younger, but really, there's only a few scenes like Merovingian Oracle Architect. The only ones I was really impressed by. This is so bad. Why has he seen this? Is it because he sucked up the Oracle earlier? What's going on with that plot thread? I don't remember. Do they do something with that? Yeah, the Oracle, right? I like that, kind of. I don't know. I think it would have been much more interesting had we gotten the Oracle being more of the one, right? Like something to do with her actually getting sucked into the code, like makes one of the Smiths a betrayer, an imposter, sus, if you will. Yes, I agree, Hussy. Welcome to the stream, Sophie. I love Weaving's acting here, though. Like, because he's so in control all the time, just to see him scared actually really pays off great. Again, incredible. And a good example of what I mean. I keep talking about payoffs, but that's, okay, so what's going on here? Oh, fucking Neo's just fucking. So that whole fight was pointless. Could have just skipped to this. Could have just let him stick it in. Okay, Neo's got light inside of him now. Neo's Jesus. Fuck me, man. Oh, look at this. Now everyone's Neo. I think that they could have done something more interesting with the Oracle. See, this just undercuts the whole fight we just saw, right? Like, what was the point of any of that? What was the point of the Oracle? This would have happened if the Oracle scene never happened, right? Code actually evolved beyond initial singularity sentience, and as a result was able to see the way the code would develop by reaching the next tech level awareness of AI consciousness. Q like. I just fucking don't like the fucking. I just don't buy the robot face. I like that the Oracle's there. That's kind of cool. I sort of feel like the Oracle is the one. But again, it all sort of comes down to the fact that Neo can't be stopped. That Neo is so OP. Why did Neo stop Smith? Because there's no way he could have failed, is the answer. There's no tension to that resolution. He didn't earn anything. He was born the fucking one, and he fucking had no choice. But when he gets penetrated by Smith, that it was just going to never work out for Smith. The Oracle didn't have to do anything, didn't have to set Smith up, because Smith was going to try to stick his shit into fucking Neo one way or the other, because he was doing it to everybody. Total bullshit. Yeah, there's no, all of this was just like build up to what was inevitable, and not inevitable in some sort of like, oh, fate sort of way. I mean, like, there was no, just in the very way that the thing was set up, there was no, that's just why I find this fucking so not good. even the whole fight scene, we're now 30 minutes from an hour and 26, which was, I felt was pretty good. Even the whole fight scene with the doc and everything, all those people who died, didn't matter. Neo was just gonna fucking stop the machines anyways. In some sense, the humans could have just given up if Neo had gotten penetrated by Smith a few hours earlier. Like, Neo could have just, there's no point that Neo had to jack in there, right? Like, all that machine did was let him jack into the Matrix like they do all the time. Why did he have to go to the source, other than the Oracle told him to? Zero fucking sense. I like that we get the glitchy cat callback. That's good. So, That was the reboot, right? That was Matrix rebooted. Maybe? I like that we get to see Colonel Sanders here. I'm worried this scene won't pay off, but let's go ahead and see. Has the delete command? Yeah. When programs are supposed to get deleted, they return to the source. Neo getting got connects Smith to the source. Yeah, I guess. I just mean, like, if they can get deleted anywhere in the fucking Matrix, why did Neo have to go to the Machine City? Yeah, see, I like that sort of explanation for things better, Hussey. Like, that AI is just really good at predicting human emotions. You know, a real sunset would have been more beautiful than a fake ass CGI one here. I like that they, you know, leave it open there. I have a whole thing about that, LF, that I just didn't have time to rant about. That I'm going to get it into. This ending sucks. I suspect we'll see Neo again someday. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Neo fucking died. Oh, love the music here. Juno Reactor is just the shit. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So here's another thing, now that we're in the credits here, to what you just said. He would get out like Bane did. All right. There's no reason programs weren't getting out like they did, like Smith did into Bane the whole fucking time. Right? Like, how did Smith get in there? Wasn't that hard. He just stuck his finger into Bane and got in there, right? By the way, guys, shout outs to all of you who've gone on this journey with me. It's been amazing to be able to watch all these movies. I know I sound negative right now, but I had a lot of fun watching these. And even when these movies are a little frustrating, they're still a lot of fun. They're still good movies. I don't think there's obviously, if you're a fan of the original, there's a certain way in which these movies hurt where you're like, ow, I didn't like that. But I still think they're great. The three of them together is a fun time to watch with you guys. And this Juno Reactor slaps. No one can touch Juno when Juno's on fire. Love it. RSI, what is that? I'm sorry. Yeah, so we had some discussion, I think, before you got here, LF, about how whether or not Neo, like, there's two ways they could go into 4 that we've talked about that could be satisfying. One is that the Neo in the new movie and Trinity and Morpheus don't have human counterparts. That is, they are programs, right? They're ghosts. They're not, there's not like a literal Neo jacked into the Matrix right there, back in the desert of the real, right? So it could be that, like they're a ghost of Neo. And I think that happened in the Matrix Online. There was like a ghost of Neo who showed back up a few years later. So that's one thing. The other one, which I thought Michael's version of it was really cool was that the real world is still in a simulation, right? And that would actually be supported by all the yellow light in a way, because it looks like the Matrix code, just more complex, maybe. And okay, so if that's true, then that would explain how Neo's able to have magic powers in the real world. Because otherwise, that really doesn't make any sense at all, other than like Christian spirituality or something like this. Rob Dugan's amazing. Or Duggan, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. And you should absolutely do streams like this. I'd love to hang out with you on your stream. But if it's the case that everything we saw in the real world was just part of the algorithm, was still just another layer, sort of Inception-like, of the Matrix, well, then that's kind of cool that we could get, for one thing, it makes Neo totally not special, because if what the architect has said is true, which is that the Matrix always reboots and whatever, then that's all that happened here, right? Was just the Matrix reboots. Because by the time we get to 4, we're in a reboot of the Matrix, presumably. In which case, Neo's not all that. He's the one, but he's only one of the ones, right? But that's cool. That's at least a perfectly serviceable in-universe explanation for how we could end up with Matrix 4 after this. Yeah. Yes, the first movie relied more on nu metal acts like Rob Zombie and Rage Against the Machine. And that's fine. I commented on that, though, when we watched it, where I was like, for some reason, Rage just kind of doesn't feel like the perfect fit for me there. Ben Watkins is Juno Reactor, by the way, guys. He's just up on the credits right now. That's why I wanted to point that out. Also, listen to this music. It's so great. The fact that this guy's able to do all this world stuff. I just hit the microphone, sorry. I've said it for a long time. Juno Reactor is my favorite electronic musician. I just think he's on another level. Never shown up to that first Electrolust I came to. I love that very much. And I agree. I mean, I think my love for cyberpunk came from seeing The Matrix. So even though there's a lot to cyberpunk, and I'm a huge William Gibson fan, and a huge Juno Reactor fan, but that's because I heard him in The Matrix, and I got into William Gibson because he's the guy who came up with the idea of The Matrix, and so I don't know the song you're referencing off the top of my head. Hussy, you'll have to send it to me. So good. But yeah, okay. Overall thoughts. I really liked the first hour and a half of this movie. Was pretty much perfect in my view. I'm not saying that there weren't things that could be fixed. As we were going, I had moments where I said, this shot's not great or something. But overall, I would have taken this, if the whole 2 movies, 5-ish hours, was as good as that first hour and a half of this movie, I would go for it. It's just that the ending, just for me, is just an incredible. It's incredible to me that the people who were so talented, who wrote the first Matrix, were able to write the ending of this movie and go, this is good. That baffles me. That blows my fucking mind. I'm sorry, I've been ranting a lot, guys. It's just, I think when you love something, and I love The Matrix, it hurts when someone just fucks it. And if it's easier to accept it in a weird way when it's like with the Star Wars sequels, where there's like all this drama between Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams, and they didn't fucking plan anything out, and what's her name, Kennedy, can't think of Kathleen Kennedy. Like, there's just all this like backstory drama as to why it sucked. You're like, okay, it's just a clusterfuck. But this one, you can really say that these movies are auteur movies. These are movies that are exactly what the creators wanted to do, exactly what the Wachowskis wanted. They clearly had all the money in the world to throw at it. And yeah, lost in the sauce, caught it in their own hype. It's like, the ending was just such a fucking, like, that's it? You know? I think the Bane plot hole, the fact that the programs always could have jumped into the real world, that's a huge plot hole. I think the Oracle adds nothing to what happens at the end, right? Because there's no... The Oracle, it feels like the Oracle tricked Smith, but she didn't really do anything, right? There's really no point to any of that. What's the in-universe explanation? We get one line. The power of the One extends beyond the Matrix. That's it. That's so lame. It's a flaccid explanation. And then it turns out, why did they have to go to the Machine City? No reason. Why did they have to go all the way around the city to get to drop that EMP off right next to the city? No reason. Could have just fired an EMP off right in the fucking center of the dock. Well, it's not even reverse psychology. I'm not arguing with you in particular, Hussey. He was going to do it anyways. He didn't need any further anything. I don't fucking know. I mean... This was fun. This was great. I loved it. It was a great time hanging out with everybody and doing this. Sorry for the technical problems at the beginning of the stream. I promise I'll get this figured out and straightened out before the next stream. I don't know what's causing that, but I do know what's causing it. I changed audio interfaces. So luckily I still had everything set up to run through my Focusrite Scarlett, and so we were able to swap back pretty quickly, relatively quickly. It was still a little rough, but we were able to make this stream still happen, and you guys hung out, so I appreciate that. Yeah. I hear you, Hussey. But yeah, this was great. I had such a great time, and we, especially, I don't know if I have you invited on Facebook, LF, but we're doing a Matrix watch party. We're going to go see it in person down in Boca on December 28th. And go ahead and shoot me when you shoot me that email for the song Cyberpunk by Vulture Culture, also send me, I'll send you the stuff for that, because we're going to try to get as many of the Scum family together to go see that. It's a really great theater because it's always abandoned. There's nobody there. The last 2 Scum movie meetups we've done there, we've been the only people there. And you book all of your seats ahead of time. So like, there's only, I don't know, I feel like there's 6 rows, and each row's got like 8 seats in it or 10 seats in it, because they're like these really wide, comfy recliner seats. They're not like regular movie theater seats. It's just already good. Oh, awesome. I'm happy about that. I'll make sure that you're invited. Same thing with you, Hussey. You got to come out if you can. I mean, obviously, I know you guys. We were talking about that at Harry's. That you were telling me. I think that's your D&D night, which totally get. But more than anything, I just want you guys to know you're invited, because I love you guys. I appreciate the Scum family so much. You guys have made my life incredible. I look forward to every Wednesday hanging out with you guys. So I appreciate it very much. Yeah, without too much, we could hang out all night, but we'll get the stuff figured out with the audio. I'm glad for you guys who got here earlier. You got to hear the new Vulture Culture single. Music video is dropping on Friday. Really excited about that. So iPix is a better theater for sure, but I kind of like the grimy, like Shadowwood goth ass fucking abandoned movie theater. I don't know, and it is nice in there. It's just small. Yeah. It was great seeing you too. So anyways, guys, I love all of you with all of my little black heart. You guys have a wonderful night, and I'll see you next Wednesday. All right, take care.